You know it's officially offseason when there's a bunch of crazy things going on. And one of those crazy things just came out about Cincinnati. And it involves a superstar in the NFL. Before I jump into it, always don't forget to subscribe to the Bengals Digest channel. That number keeps going down. It was 95 yesterday. Now it's 94. So don't forget to subscribe to the Bengals Digest channel. Won't be long because last time I talked about myself for a little bit too long. I got yelled at in the comments. So I'm going to jump right into the video. But don't forget to subscribe to the Bengals Digest channel for all your Bengals updates, rumors, trades, everything going on in Cincinnati. We'll talk about right here. But let's jump right into it. And it's involving this man right here, this superstar, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver with Los Angeles Rams. A lot of you may be thinking, what the crap are we talking about Cooper Kupp for? He's on contract with the Rams and through 2026. Yes, but they considered trading him this season, in season, and also now in the offseason, they're looking at potentially trading him again, as well as they don't know what the future is for Matthew Stafford, so they might be going into a rebuild, trying to get as much value as possible. And obviously, this coincides with earlier in the season, Cincinnati Bengals should go in all in on offensive identity trade for star wide receiver Cooper Kupp. This was from this season in October, as you can see that this report is from, saying we should have traded for him in season. And I was kind of behind it then. Yeah, go get an offensive guy that can be your third string or third guy out there with Jamar, T, and Cooper Kupp to go make a push through the playoffs. We still ended up doing that, falling short. Kupp could have solved that problem. But if Cincinnati is involved in a report with Cooper Kupp, it leaves a question wide open for what about Tee Higgins? Pro Football Focus just came out saying that they project Tee Higgins to sign a contract of $112 million, which is a base salary of $28 million per year, which is a lot for a wide receiver too. And then Bleacher Report came out with this report saying top landing spots for Cooper Kupp if wide receiver leaves Rams in NFL offseason. So if he's looking, most likely, why I'm saying trade still is most likely the Rams wouldn't cut Kupp because it would be a huge dead cap space on their. It would be dead cap money on their cap space. So it would be more beneficial for the Rams to trade rather than to cut him. And I think if they're not going to be able to trade him, they would rather just keep him than cut him anyways. They're already paying him money anyways. But just to go over why Kupp might leave, this is what the report goes on to say. According to multiple reporters at The Athletic, the Rams spoke with teams about flipping Kupp for a second-round pick before the November 5th trade deadline, and they're willing to pay a portion of his 2024 salary. So this was obviously in season, but now in the offseason, Kupp will turn 32 in June, and he's coming off another injury-riddled season in which he racked up only 59.2 receiving yards per game, his lowest average since his rookie season in 2017. The Rams could revisit trade talks with teams this offseason if they want to get younger at wide receiver. The Rams would take on $2.23 million in dead money if they cut Kupp before June 1st, like I talked about, which makes him a more likely trade target than a cut candidate. If they do decide to move on, the following 6 potential trade partners should offer a third-round pick for Kupp. So that first one they mentioned is the Cincinnati Bengals, because the main reasons why is, once again, Tee Higgins. If we can't sign Tee Higgins, we're going to need to go get a wide receiver, and that's very obvious, very clear. If we lose T, our wide receivers are, as right now, Jamar Chase, Yoshivas, and Jermaine Burton. We still don't know what's going on with Jermaine Burton. He still might get cut, so we have no idea what that looks like. But if we don't get T and we don't re-sign him, we have Jamar Chase and Yoshivas pretty much. Outside of Tee Higgins, outside of Jamar Chase, our top 2 receiving threats this season were Tee Higgins and Mike Gesicki. Both right now are technically free agents. They are not a Cincinnati Bengal as of right now. They haven't signed a contract yet. I think we should go after both, try to re-sign both. But if we can't, we're literally left down to Jamar Chase and Yoshivas, and that is it. Which is why I made videos about going after a tight end in the draft or in trades or free agency, all that kind of stuff. Because if we can't sign Mike Gesicki or Tee Higgins, there is a massive hole in the offense that we need to fill. Once again, this was the first name that was pulled up, Cincinnati Bengals, for to trade for Cooper Kupp, which would be a third-round pick. Third-round pick, we're looking this season probably. I wouldn't be surprised if we went with a running back or wide receiver third round. Probably an offensive guy. Wouldn't be surprised if we go after a linebacker third round. It just depends. But I've stated this multiple times. In my mind, I would much rather have Tee Higgins than Cooper Kupp. Not saying Cooper Kupp isn't a good wide receiver, but with what Cincinnati needs, Tee Higgins is their guy. Let's just look at their stats for this season, right? Also, before I jump into this is what Cooper Kupp had to say about LA before the season. We'll see what is going to be. This is Cooper Kupp talking about LA. There was obviously stuff that was going on early in the season, talking about the trade, and we'll see. I don't have any clarity on what that's going to look like. Obviously, I would love to be in LA, but I don't know what it is going to look like. So he is open to being traded. Most players will, in this situation, say, I want to stay with the team I am currently on, but you never know, especially if the Rams or Matthew Stafford decides to retire. Cooper Kupp would like to probably, for the latter part of his career, go play for a QB who he knows is a good QB. He wouldn't want to risk it, and with the Rams in LA, not knowing who his QB was going to be, when he could go to a team like Cincinnati, who has Joe Burrow, who is also very similar to Matthew Stafford. And another reason why it does make sense why Cooper Kupp would come to Cincinnati is the relationship that Zach Taylor and Cooper Kupp have. In 2017, Zach Taylor was actually the wide receiver coach for the Los Angeles Rams. So Zach Taylor and Cooper Kupp actually do have a pretty close relationship. But anyways, once again, I would rather have Tee Higgins. Even if the projected salary, which might be a little bit too much for Cincinnati, $28 million a year. Cooper Kupp in 2024, his annual base salary was $15 a year, but his cap hit was $29, which was the most out of any receiver in the league. So, stats-wise, or not stats-wise, in reality, Tee Higgins was a cheaper option this year. He might not be next year, but I think would be very similar. I think Tee Higgins maybe would be a couple more million or maybe $1 million less than what Cooper Kupp would be this next season. But in 2024, both had injury-riddled seasons that they had to deal with. Both played about 12 games, and I think they both actually did play exactly 12 games. And in those 12 games, Tee Higgins in 2024 had 73 receptions, 111 receiving yards, and 10 touchdowns, averaging 12.5 yards per catch, right? What about Cooper Kupp? With the same amount of games, 67 receptions, 710 receiving yards, 6 receiving touchdowns, averaged 10.6 yards per catch. And Cooper Kupp is going to be 32 years old this next season. Tee Higgins is going to be 26. If I'm Cincinnati, I'm doing anything that I can to make the lowest deal possible with Tee Higgins. Tee Higgins might not want that deal, but that's why I think earlier it was important to notice that Ja'Marr Chase, Tee Higgins, and Joe Burrow were all talking privately to make sure they all stay in Cincinnati. Cincinnati is the betting favorite for Cincinnati, or Cincinnati is the betting favorite for Tee Higgins to land in 2025, as of right now, because of the reports saying that Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and Tee Higgins have talked privately, trying to make sure all of them stay in Cincinnati this upcoming season, and that includes Ja'Marr Chase that needs a contract, and Tee Higgins that need a contract. I think Joe Burrow, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if I think yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Burrow comes out with restructuring his contract to allow for some space for Tee Higgins. Joe Burrow right now is making $45 million. Tom Brady throughout his career was making a yearly salary of about $20 million because he knew he needed to take less money for his front office to go pay guys to make a team that could go win the Super Bowl. And if Joe Burrow really wants to win, if he can get down to even 25 and remove $20 million from his own deal, I bet all of that $20 million goes straight into Tee Higgins. I would much rather have Tee Higgins than Cooper Kupp. I love Cooper Kupp, and I wouldn't be sad if he was a Cincinnati Bengal next season. But with the options, with their age, with both of their injury, with their injury history, and with the amount of money that wouldn't be so significant, Cooper Kupp would probably be once again the biggest cap hit in the wide receiver NFL next season as well. So he's going to be an expensive guy. Maybe if the Rams could make it a little bit of a sweeter deal, if we give them a 3rd-round pick, and then they say they're going to pay a portion of his 2025 salary, that makes it look a little bit more attractive. But with what it stands right now, if Tee Higgins is going to be 28 or less, and then Cooper Kupp is probably going to be around 25, 26, I'm keeping Tee Higgins. He's been more productive. He's been younger. He has more potential. He hasn't hit his ceiling yet, I don't think. With how he started with his injuries this season, I think he could have a much better next season. I think next season, if Tee Higgins stays in Cincinnati and stays healthy, I think Jamar Chase and Tee Higgins could finish the season both with 1,000 yards. He almost did that this season. So once again, Cincinnati needs to do whatever it takes to make sure Tee Higgins is in stripes next season, without a doubt in my mind. And even if we can't sign Tee Higgins, I would rather go get a guy in the draft rather than go get a guy like Cooper Kupp. If we can't get Tee Higgins, I'd rather go after freaking Luther Burden, wide receiver out of not Maryland, Missouri, or Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Those are the likely guys that will be available at 17. I'd rather have either of them than Cooper Kupp in 2025. But out of all the options, I would most likely, or most wantingly, that doesn't make sense, I would want the most to be Tee Higgins. But that's all up to the front office. But I think it's very clear. Most Cincinnati fans want this. They want Tee Higgins. Joe Burrow knows how pivotal Tee Higgins is to the offense. I think Zach Taylor knows how pivotal Tee Higgins is to the offense. I think Mike Brown also knows how pivotal Tee Higgins is to his offense. Cincinnati Bengals do whatever it takes to make sure Tee Higgins is in the stripes in 2025 and for the foreseeable future. Once again, want to be upset with Cooper Kupp, but with the options, if it's not Tee Higgins, I'm going to the draft. I'm not trading one of my picks to go get a guy that's 32 and he's coming off his worst season of his career since his rookie season. If we can't sign Tee Higgins, go get a wide receiver in the draft. Go use your 1st-round pick on a wide receiver. Joe Burrow, his playing style, like he says multiple times, he likes 5 guys out wide. Don't go get a guy that is in his latter years of the NFL. Go get a young guy that you know will do well, like a Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden. But definitely don't bank on not getting T and going to trade Cooper Kupp. I think it makes absolutely 0 sense. Go with T or go get a guy in the draft. I think that is the 2 clear options. I love Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't be mad if he was a Bengal. But with the options right now and with the Super Bowl window open, we have better options at our doorstep. But thank you so much for watching this episode of the Bengals Digest. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to the Bengals Digest channel. Get that up. Only 5% of you watching right now are subscribed. Let's get that up. Keep commenting. Keep liking. I love responding to your guys' comments, talking back and forth about the questions or disagreements you have. Let me know what you feel about this. Do you think we should let go of T and go after Kupp? Based off some of your comments, I'm assuming you're with me. We should sign Tee Higgins. But let me know what you think we should do. Even if we sign T, should we go after a wide receiver maybe late in the draft? Let me know what you guys are thinking about the wide receiver room. But thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Bengals Digest channel for, once again, all your trade rumors, updates, everything going on in Cincinnati will be talked about here on the Bengals Digest channel. I'm Carson Lokey. I'll see you next time.